Your journey to happiness begins now. If you're struggling with depression and low energy, consider the connection to vitamin C deficiency. Stick around for expert insights and actionable tips. Hello, and welcome to this growing community of people who are ready to heal naturally with food, supplements, herbs, and lifestyle. I'm Carrie Bailey, your functional nutritionist. I work with people with anxiety, depression, and other weird mystery symptoms, and together we heal. I encourage you to follow your own inner guidance system with the information that I provide. The information I provide is general in nature and may not be specific to you. Today, we're talking about physiological depression, the kind of depression that might be treatment resistant because it's based in the underlying root causes rather than mental, emotional stress and trauma. When it comes to physiological depression, it's important to look at pathogens, toxins, and the role of the immune system. In this video, I'm going to go over the blood markers that indicate a vitamin C deficiency, some signs and symptoms that you may be experiencing that indicate low vitamin C, and most effective forms of vitamin C. Blood work indications of low vitamin C. Now, these are going to be functional ranges. These are not the ranges that your lab gives you or that your conventional doctor gives you. These are ranges that are meant to be focused on optimal health. So on a complete blood count with differential, if you have a high RBC, that's your red blood count, and high for a female is greater than 4.5, and for a male is greater than 4.9. If you have low hemoglobin, and for a female, that's less than 13.5, and for a male, that's less than 14. If you have low hematocrit, that's less than 37 for a female and less than 40 for a male. The other blood panel that has some vitamin C markers on it are your comprehensive metabolic panel. And these are basic panels you can get from your doctor. And you might even have a history of this blood work with you. You want to look for a low albumin, that's less than 4. If you have a high alkaline phosphatase, now this is only for adults because kids naturally have high alkaline phosphatase because they have growing bones. But if the adult has a greater than 100 of alkaline phosphatase, usually I don't take all these markers as one marker, means you're low in vitamin C. You might have multiple markers, not just one. And lastly is a low iron. Iron is going to be less than 85, and that might indicate that you need vitamin C. Extra tests that you might need to ask for would include a ferritin level. Ferritin is related to iron in that ferritin is the storage form of iron. So iron and ferritin are related. If your ferritin is low, that's less than 70. If you have low T4, this is a thyroid hormone, and that would be less than 6. If you have low free T4, that's less than 300 picograms per milliliter. Now, this is a specific unit of measure. I find that every lab gives me different unit of measures, and so you might need to translate that to a different unit of measure. But this unit of measure is less than 300 picograms per milliliter. All right, let's jump into some of the signs that might indicate that you're low in vitamin C. You might bruise easily, you might have bleeding gums, you might have wounds that aren't healing, you have depression, which is why you're here, because that's a major factor. And sometimes along with depression comes fatigue, right? These can also be symptoms of long COVID. If you get sick easily, if you have weakness, if you have weight loss, loss of appetite, again, another long COVID symptom, which is shortness of breath, moodiness, and connective tissue disorders. And in my exploration for this video, I stumbled upon scurvy, right? Today, if you go to the doctor, they're not going to diagnose you with scurvy and recommend that you take vitamin C. But this is just even more signs of deficient vitamin C. With scurvy specifically, it's fatigue and weakness, kind of same as what I already talked about, irritability and sadness, aka depression. And here's a new one, joint, muscle, and leg pain. That could indicate that you need vitamin C, that you have scurvy. Swelling or bleeding gums, teeth falling out, red or blue spots on your skin, usually on your legs and feet. Skin that bruises easily, we talked about that one. Anemia, this kind of goes back to the blood work we were talking about. We were talking about low iron and low ferritin. Poor wound healing, we talked about depression. Here's another one that's kind of new, is like an achiness in the legs and arms. I see sometimes weird physical manifestations that seem like possibly neurological. Your skin could be thickening, you might have nausea, and you might have small bruises around your hair follicles, or also sort of known as ingrown hairs. You can imagine if you are a person who's trying to feel better and you chose to go low carb, keto, or carnivore, you might be cutting out some critical vitamin C rich foods. These would be fruit or other healthy forms of carbohydrates like sweet potatoes, and oranges. Again, this could lead you to vitamin C deficiency. If you're a person watching this and you're like, Carrie, I eat fruit every single day, so I'm sure that I don't need vitamin C. But here's some more reasons why you might need vitamin C, because these types of things I'm about to talk about create bigger demand for vitamin C on your body. This includes chronic inflammation. So chronic has been going on for more than a few months of inflammation, allergies, diabetes, high blood pressure, also known as hypertension. If you have digestive issues, stress is a huge depleter of vitamin C, and we're all stressed, right? Hopefully you're not smoking cigarettes, but if you smoke cigarettes, that depletes vitamin C. And also even if you're around secondhand smoke, if you've had one or more surgeries, or if you've had a physical injury, there's more demand for vitamin C. And here's the medications list. If you've got birth control, medications for acne like tetracycline and doxycycline, and lastly, steroid medication. So whether that's an inhaler for your lungs or any other kind of cream or any other kind of steroid that you're taking for inflammation like prednisone. Before we jump into solutions, I have a gift for you. I have a beautiful anxiety and depression recovery guide. I left a link for you down in the description and comments below. My guide provides recipes, tips, and tricks, and everything you need to get started on this journey to healing anxiety and depression naturally. And let's jump into the foods. The foods that are highest in vitamin C are lemon. This is exactly why I usually recommend lemon water first thing in the morning. Oranges, red bell peppers, parsley, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, potatoes, strawberries, sweet potato, tomato, and the last one is rose hips, which is more, it's not really an herb, but you might find it more in the tea section. What's great about all these fruits and vegetables that I just spoke about is they're high in bioflavonoids. This is that chemical compound that allows the vitamin C to be better absorbed, might get more bioavailable. If you are taking supplemental vitamin C, it's helpful to take it with those other fruits and vegetables so that you have a better ability to assimilate that vitamin C gets into the cell. If you're loving this video, give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel so you can see more of the information that I share. All right, let's get into supplements, get into the juicy parts. There's a really good chance if you're deficient on your blood work, in your signs and symptoms, that you're gonna need more than fruits and vegetables for vitamin C. There's a really good chance that you're gonna need some supplementation. What's important to know is that 99% of the vitamin C that's out there on the shelves, whether you're shopping at a high-end store, whether you're working with a professional grade product, is that it's mostly ascorbic acid. And ascorbic acid, unless it's said otherwise, could be a genetically modified source of corn. So this is part of the reason that vitamin C is used for constipation, because that ascorbic acid is very harsh and abrasive and acidic. And that's what triggers you to have a bowel movement if you have constipation. So that's why the high levels of vitamin C works. But when you take this form of vitamin C, it may inadvertently be causing signs and symptoms that kind of confuse the terrain. So if you're a practitioner like me who uses signs and symptoms on this journey to figure out what's working, what's not working, what should go in, what should come out, having that vitamin C in there, if it's ascorbic acid, could actually be a problem. So let's talk about some forms that you want to avoid. This product I hear a lot of clients talking about, readily available, abundantly available, called Emergency. Now, these are little packets of vitamin C, seems convenient. You stick it in water, you mix it up, you drink it down. But when you look at the ingredients, it's got a lot of ingredients, and more isn't necessarily better. Most of the ingredients are synthetic. So if you look at the B12 in there, it's a synthetic form of B. It does have 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C, but it's made from ascorbic acid. And when I looked at their product, it says they can't guarantee that it's not genetically modified, because it is. It's genetically modified corn. That's what they make their vitamin C out of. In the past, I used to use liposomal because I thought, okay, cool, liposomal is helping it get into the cell. So maybe less acidic, but it's still ascorbic acid. So it's still genetically modified corn, in addition to a couple other ingredients in the whole concept of liposomal. You're going to have soy, potentially, and alcohol. So those are the two that are extra ingredients, which I generally ask people to take out of their diet. So we don't want to be putting it in a supplement form. And the other forms that I see of vitamin C might be tablets, gummies, chewables. Unfortunately, those are generally not very high dosage that you need. And it's also usually has a lot of other junk in it that you don't need, a lot of refined sugar, other additives that are a processed food, to be honest. Okay, let's jump into the good stuff. What is the best form of vitamin C for you to take? You want to look for a buffered vitamin C. And this is a buffered, it's going to be buffered with magnesium and calcium to make it not so acidic and make it easier for the body to assimilate. And a buffered vitamin C sometimes is called ester C. You want to look for a capsule or a powder over a tablet. It's also important that the ingredients include some of those bioflavonoids and some of the natural forms of vitamin C. So you can look for acerola cherry, rose hips, camu camu, different ingredients that are going to make it a better form and more bioavailable. Dosages are tricky. If you watch my first long COVID video, there I talk about doing a vitamin C therapy, which you could definitely do. If you're just I want to take something for breakfast and something for dinner, you might need as much as 4,000 milligrams of vitamin C twice daily, depending on, again, how sick you are, how deficient you are. When you add vitamin C, dosage matters, right? If you're really sick and you're only putting in 1,000 milligrams in the morning and 1,000 milligrams at night, you might get better, but it's going to take you longer, right? And you might have to really up how much the dosage is in order to feel better. I'm going to share 3 vitamin C's that I have found on the market that are readily available, hopefully all over the world, and that have the right ingredients in it for you. So you can find a link in the description and the comments below to those vitamin C's. All right, to recap, we covered one of the possible solutions to treatment-resistant depression, which is vitamin C. We went over blood work markers that indicate vitamin C deficiency. We covered some of the signs and symptoms of vitamin C deficiency that you might be experiencing. And we also talked a little bit about the things that are happening in the body that might create increased demand for vitamin C. Lastly, we went over foods that are highest in vitamin C and what to look for in a supplement form of vitamin C. Lastly, we went over the foods highest in vitamin C, and we also went over what to look for and what to avoid in supplementing vitamin C. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.